Seeds for Growth on the Columbus Collaborative is a co-production of Huntington Bank and WOSU Public Media.
We have so much great brain power in our community, experts in their field who can talk on so many different topics. So we decided to bring a whole bunch of different topics together and share them in a really fast-paced way. The German is coming out. Anyhow, so what we will do is we will share 30 ideas with you in 30 minutes. We have 6 subject matter experts here. Each will share with you 5 ideas. They will each have 1 minute per idea and we'll go boom, boom, boom. So this will be fun. It'll be interactive. Are we all comfortable?
Let's talk about leadership. I want to split a very coarse hair. There is a difference between leadership and management. You manage things and you lead people. Everybody in this room is a leader in the community and in your organizations. So first and foremost, I'm going to touch on 4 aspects of leadership today. The first one I want to hit is leading yourself. What do you care about? And we've asked people on a regular basis, why do you go to work every day? And whether it's for-profit or non-profit, the answers are always the same. It's not the money. Clearly in your line of work, it's probably not the money. I know what your budgets are like. It's not your boss, so it's not about you, sort of get over yourself. It's about the work, it's about the colleagues, and it's about the growth opportunities. So understand about yourself first and foremost. What drives you? Why are you doing what you do? What excites you? And then understand it about your people. How do you create those growth opportunities for them? How do you engage them in things they care about and make it interesting and exciting for them? But lead them, they're not things. Okay, so I talked about leading yourself. Now let's talk about leading the thinking and setting a vision for your organization. I'm a capitalist, unashamedly so. I run a for-profit organization. I've been on the corporate side, and as it was mentioned earlier, when you're seeking partnerships with corporations, what's in it for them? How can you paint a compelling picture for that organization of why they should work with you? What are the benefits to their associates, to their constituents, and how can they get their associates involved? Additionally, being able to paint that picture for your team rather than standing still, as Lieutenant Governor Fisher pointed out. You have to let them know where they're going. Get that engagement, get something out there in terms of a vision and a mission that's going to resonate with your folks. It's not good enough to just say we support the community, we're doing charitable work. Paint a compelling and exciting picture for them to be a part of. I already talked about leading yourself and leading the thinking. Now let's talk about the one we always think about with leadership, which is leading your people. You folks are really good at being empathetic and understanding your constituents. The question I'd put in front of you is, are you equally as good at understanding and being empathetic with your associates? As a 22-year-old young man, I was pretty fortunate to have a interesting job description, which was blow stuff up and run stuff over. I was a tank platoon leader in the United States Army. And at one point, the colonel came looking for me, probably to yell at me for some varied and sundry reason. And he asked my driver, "Where's Lieutenant Figliuolo?" And my driver pointed to a pair of boots sticking out from under the tank. I was under the tank turning a wrench, and it was about 3 in the morning. It was cold, it was muddy, but my driver was tired. I lived his life. It was important. That story got around the battalion in about 2 minutes flat. I cared about my people. Do you understand the challenges your folks are facing in the organization and keeping them engaged? So I'm going to hit on leading your people again. Jim, you've heard this story before. First, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? Listen to your people. Again, you listen to your constituents. I challenge you to listen to your people and your team members as well. Let me share a story. I had a soldier at one point who was not exactly the model soldier. A lot of discipline problems, showing up drunk at formation kind of things, you know, pretty egregious behavior. And we were out at Gunnery. It was a hot summer, and I sent my driver out with $5 to go get some sodas from the PX down the drive. And I said, you need 1 Pepsi, a Diet Coke, a Mountain Dew, and a 7-Up. And he came back and handed them out to the people I had told him to. And this particular problem child soldier looked at my driver and said, "You knew I drank 7-Up?" And he said, "No, the lieutenant did." And this soldier looked at me and says, "You know I drank 7-Up?" I said, "Yeah." The next day, a different guy showed up at work because somebody cared about Dan. Not specialist so-and-so, not the loader on this tank. It was Dan. and Dan mattered to somebody else in the organization. It has a profound effect on your people. One day I showed up at work at Capital One. I knew it was going to be a particularly difficult day when I looked at my calendar and the meeting slate was awful. I grabbed coffee at Burger King on the way into work, and they had a stack of crowns. So I grabbed one and I wore it all day. Okay? I was talking about the R squared of an analytical model. I was talking about performance reviews with people wearing the Burger King crown. And folks looked at me like I had finally lost it, which is not out of the realm of possibility, okay? But they asked, why are you wearing that crown? Did you lose a bet? You know, what's going on here? I said, because. And I said, and if you have to ask the question again, you'll never get it. You'll never understand it. What we do is critically important. In the nonprofit world, in the for-profit world, it's critically important. But get over it, right? It's not life and death unless you're a surgeon, right? And surgeon wearing a Burger King crown, you are not operating on me. But get over it. Bring some levity into the workplace. Bring perspective in there. Keep people's minds in the game and let them know, hey, it's not as critical. Don't get all wound up over it as you're currently doing.